There are 3 reasons why you should tithe. Now, tithing means giving to God the first 10%. The first reason you should tithe is because you're honoring God's commandment to do so. Do you know in the Bible, God has commanded numerous times that we should be tithing. God says the tithe belongs to Him. It is holy. Bible says if you don't tithe, you're robbing God. So the tithe belongs to Him. So when we tithe, we obey God. Yet there are some who will say, yeah, Bishop, I understand that. That's in the Old Testament, Leviticus and other passages, but I'm a New Testament Christian and I follow the New Testament. Well, I'm glad you do. Jesus said in Matthew 23, woe to you teachers of the law, you Pharisees, you hypocrites, you give 1/10 of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin. But you have neglected the more important matters of the law, justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without, watch this, without neglecting the former. So Jesus told us we need to practice both justice, mercy, and faithfulness, and let's not use that as an exemption from tithing. So basically he's saying to the Pharisees, I want you to practice the important things of the Word of God, but don't use that as an excuse to neglect the former, which is tithing. So Jesus said we should be tithing. The second reason we should tithe is it honors God as the owner of all. You see, some people will tell me, you know, Bishop, God owns everything, not just 10%. Well, then in that case, why don't you give everything? Well, I don't think I should be doing that. Well, see, this is what the tithe does. The tithe is your way of declaring to God by action that God owns everything. See, Paul writes in Romans 11:16 that if the first, watch this, if the part of the dough offered as first fruits is holy, then the whole batch is holy. What is he saying? When we give to God the first fruits, which is the first 10% of our income, then God considers it the gift of the whole thing. He sanctifies everything you have. It is your declaration that God is the owner of everything. So when you don't tithe, what you're really saying is God doesn't own everything in my life. I own it. And that brings us to the third and final reason. Tithing is God's way to provide for you. Malachi chapter 3 verse 10 says, bring the tithe and see if I don't open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing that you won't have room enough for it. God uses your tithing to bless your life. Tithing is like sowing seed, and that seed grows up and multiplies and becomes a great harvest. So tithing is God's way to bless you. So it is important, my friend, that you tithe to the Lord.